So this episode 2020 is coming to an end. And so we just talked about something that bad happened in 2020. Look, we know everything on 2020 now, if someone talks about it, it's good. It was not a good year. It was not a good year at all. And we all went through hard times. And a lot of people went through way more hard times than I did. Everybody's hard times are their own personal hard times. Some people go through them worse than others. And I feel nothing but sympathy for everybody that, the actual person that has to struggle through stuff. That's who I feel sympathy for, not the grand scheme, but it's like, yes, if you're listening to this, you and you and you, I feel bad if you had to go through something and you had to deal with more. But we did not want to just talk about negative stuff in 2020. So the idea of this episode will be to tell you why this is still the greatest time to be alive right now. Just to give you some look, and I don't think any of our listeners will take this the wrong way, because I think everybody's logical, level-headed people, and they don't. If someone finds this somewhere else, they might. Not saying bad stuff happens, but how about some positive? You're still currently, and I'm not saying someone falls out of a building, that guy, it wasn't the best time for him to be alive. Mm-hmm. But in general, broad strokes,
right,
by far, never a better time to be alive than right now.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did some research on it. If you just look year to year, you could certainly argue some years are worse than others. 2020 was definitely a worse year.
Yeah, and 2019.
Yeah, and for many, many metrics. So broad strokes, though, we were talking decades and sometimes centuries, undoubtedly the world is going to be a much better place in most of the areas that we consider.
And I don't think people think about that. I know that, I feel like if you tell someone this, they're like, yeah, of course. And you're like, I know, but tell yourself that, man. Be in it. Remind yourself, you know what? It is. And I should at least be happy for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just be miserable. Don't just, it's like you can throw yourself your pity parties. I get it. But also when you walk around, just try to be like, all right, you know what? This is a good time. And if I'm down on my luck, this is the best time to try to turn that around. You have the most opportunity to turn this around. So let's enjoy 2020. It's the best year I've ever had.
So from what I read,
no, I'm not saying just turn it around. You know what, guys? It's amazing. There's companies that are through the roof right now, 2020.
Yeah.
Amazon, if you're Jeff Bezos, that guy is like, he won't have a better year. 2020, honestly, might be his best year ever. So we have him on the podcast. He'll be the only thumbs up on this podcast is one Jeff Bezos. He's like, these guys get it, dude. They get it. He's a zillionaire.
I was reading about this. Some stuff surprised me. Most people would say the world's getting be worse, a worse place to live in.
Yeah.
And
as if there's another place to live in. That's what the world's the worst place to live in. You're like, where else? Where do you want to go?
Yeah,
outside of that,
kind of our only option right now.
This is it. Look, Mars. Obviously,
we might already have people
on the table. We do have people on there. You don't believe it. I believe it. We haven't even. No, is that podcast? No, that's.
Well, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
We have one that we have. Yeah, all right. Sorry.
The prevailing thought is the world's getting a much better place, but we have so much more access now to media, social media, TV media, all of it, that we know so much more about the bad stuff happening. It's not that it's worse. It's actually getting much better, but we just hear about the bad stuff so much more. We're more educated about it.
I'm rethinking this whole episode now. It's actually the worst. That's what we're going to do. No, that is true. That, media, 24-hour media, 24-hour news, and social media. You got rid of social media, we'd go back to living an amazing life. You wouldn't get stuff out, though. I mean, I say that. That's probably not true. But it's, that's very much true. But it still doesn't mean that it's you'd rather live now than you want to live in 1900.
No. No, of course. Now is much better.
Yes.
It's just that we hear about the bad stuff much easier.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't make it worse.
No, he's just saying there's a perception.
It gives you a perception because you hear all about it now.
You're able to hear about everything.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a newspaper from Syracuse, New York in 1900 and find out somebody got murdered there, right? But then now you see it all over Twitter.
Right.
Yeah. But that doesn't, just because you hear about it, doesn't mean that it's worse.
No, I'm saying he's saying it creates a false perception
so
that
it's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all talking about the same thing.
I think we're.
Was that a flip side? Would that have been a proper flip side or germane? Could you have used those in any of that?
Oh man, I'm glad we're back on the same page because I felt we got lost there for a second.
Yeah.
On the Gregorian calendar, do you think 2020 was worse?
As a secular year, that's not like other years. What do you think?
I don't know, man.